Welcome to the Florida Maintenance Provider Certification Training. This lecture is designed to cover operation and maintenance information for the Presby Advanced and Viral Septic Treatment System. Please note the telephone number on the screen if you have any unanswered questions after the presentation. All on-site sewage treatment and disposal systems require maintenance to operate properly over the long term. The Presby Advanced and Viral Septic System is no exception. However, because of the passive nature of the product, maintenance steps are relatively easy to perform. In 2014, the Florida legislature granted homeowners who have been trained by the manufacturer the option to perform any needed system maintenance and to report the operational status of their system. We believe our treatment system to currently be the only ATU equivalent that homeowners can successfully maintain without the aid of industry professionals. In this presentation, we'll discuss the basics of septic system functions, which will lead to a conversation about routine maintenance, troubleshooting, and repairs. It goes without saying, but let's say it anyway. Resolving any issues discovered during the system's inspection should be corrected in a timely fashion. Like they say, a stitch in time saves 9, and that is likely to include less cost in the long run. Keeping accurate maintenance records is absolutely essential to any successful long-term maintenance program. These files will contain snapshots of the system's function throughout time and will be vital in trying to understand any system malfunctions should they occur. At any time during the maintenance and inspection process, you can take advantage of Presby Environmental's free technical support as questions arise. Let's start with a discussion about the septic tank. A septic tank is designed to be an underground, watertight receptacle. It is normally constructed with concrete, but fiberglass and plastic tanks are common. The septic tank is sized to allow for at least 24 hours of retention time, although longer periods of retention time are preferred. For example, if the daily design flow for a home is 400 gallons per day, a septic tank of 900 gallons capacity will provide over 48 hours of liquid retention. As you would expect, the septic tank retains solids from the wastewater and also offers some breakdown of those solids through anaerobic conditions, which refers to processes that take place without oxygen. Hazardous gases are produced as a byproduct of this anaerobic process. Some, like methane, are odorless and are considered asphyxiating. In general, an empty septic tank should never be entered. Be cautious even when placing your head inside a tank opening. Using mirrors or a digital camera to inspect the inside of a septic tank is always best. Now, let's talk about specific septic tank functions. The septic tank collects all the wastewater from water-producing fixtures within the home. One of its primary functions is to allow solids that are heavier than water to settle out as sludge and collect at the bottom of the tank. This sludge thickens over time. Materials that are lighter than water will float and collect at the top of the liquid in the tank, and this is called the scum layer. The result is the creation of a clarified zone between the top and bottom layers. The outlet baffle will extend down into this clarified zone to remove liquid and deliver it to the treatment field. As we mentioned in an earlier slide, the biological processes that help break down the material retained in the tank are happening in an environment without oxygen. This is called anaerobic digestion. Over time, the scum and sludge will collect in the tank and will require periodic pump out. Depending on usage, the tank may require more frequent pumping. This is a cross-section of a typical multi-compartment septic tank in Florida. This illustration shows the 4 primary layers created in the tank, 3 of which we have already discussed. The scum layer floats, the solids sink to create the sludge layer along the bottom, and the middle clarified zone is where the outlet baffle takes its liquid to the field. The first compartment will collect the majority of the solids in 2 compartment tanks. You will also notice the gas layer at the top. As discussed, these gases are produced as a part of the anaerobic digestion taking place in the tank and treatment field. These gases will leave by way of the septic tank's inlet. It is critical to the proper function of the tank and field that the exit baffle has an opening at the top of the T, or the gases from the field will not be able to escape out through the home's roof vent. The outlet baffle shown here uses a T with a sweep to minimize the possibility of clogging. This style baffle is often referred to as a sanitary T baffle. The wall separating the 2 compartments of the tank must have an opening to let liquid pass from the clarified zone of the first compartment into the second. It must also have an opening at the top to let gases move freely as they exit the tank. And finally, there must be a tank access cover over every compartment for maintenance purposes. High flow days will minimize the efficiency of the tank to stratify the contents into these needed layers. This will also be the result if the tank is undersized for its daily flow. With normal use, the septic tank will require pumping every 2 to 5 years. If a garbage disposal is in use, then the tank will need more frequent pumping. Some tanks may require pumping annually under these conditions. If the tank is faithfully pumped every 2 to 5 years, you do not have to open the tank for inspection yourself. Inspecting the tank can take place during the pump out. If the home is being used well below its design capacity, the tank may go much longer between pump outs. If this is the case, it is recommended that the accumulated scum and sludge thickness be inspected every 2 years. When the combined scum and sludge layers represent 1/4 at the tank's liquid depth, the tank must be pumped. When the tank is empty, verify that the outlet baffle is present and in working condition. Also, notice if the tank is taking on any groundwater through leaks or seams. Remember, never put your life in danger by entering a septic tank. There are multiple commercially available devices designed to determine the thickness of the layers within a tank. Examples are Sludge Judge and the True Core. They both consist of a long, clear plastic tube with a one-way valve placed at the bottom. The tube also has markings indicating every 12-inch increment along the tube. It is designed to provide a cross-section of the layers within the tank. This is done by plunging the tool vertically into the tank. As the device moves through the layers, it will let a small core of the materials and liquid present in each layer to enter the tube. When the tube is removed from the tank, the valve will not let these materials escape. The resulting cross-section allows a reasonably accurate measurement of the accumulated materials. Make sure to record this information. Once measurements are complete, open the valve at the bottom of the tool and allow the wastewater to return to the tank. When inspecting the treatment field, take note of any roof gutters that may be discharging towards the system. This additional hydraulic loading can overload the proper functioning of the bed and cause premature failure. The final grading around and on the system should be constructed to shed and divert water away from the field. Homeowners should be cautioned to take care in altering any final grading without taking these things into consideration. System venting is very important to maintaining an aerobic bed, meaning with air. Every field will have at least one low vent. This is considered to be the air inlet, while the home's roof vent is the exit. Vent stacks may be remotely located behind a tree or disguised with a Presby ornament. Make sure the vent stacks have not been removed. Vent stacks must be at least 4 inches in diameter to function properly. When a pump is used to deliver effluent to the bed, there may be a high vent attached to the distribution box. You'll have to consult the design to confirm this. Like the low vent, the high vent may also be remotely located. Pictured here are a number of devices that may be used to hide or disguise the required low vent. Under no circumstances should a charcoal filter be used to eliminate odor issues. Charcoal filters, like effluent filters, are restrictive and can dramatically affect the airflow through the field and septic tank. If end users complain of odor from the vent, they should contact Presby Environmental's technical support or their designer for remote venting advice. Many newer homes will have a garbage disposal. These devices can have a very detrimental effect on the organic loading the septic tank has to deal with. Septic tank capacity should be increased to accommodate this additional loading, or it should be removed from the wastewater stream. The use of tank and system additives is not allowed with Presby systems. Proper tank and system sizing is all that is required for successful system operation. Additives can actually have an adverse effect on the system. Water softeners should not discharge backwash into the septic tank and should be directed to a separate dry well. This discharge is not considered sewage and doesn't belong in the system. And, as always, using low-volume fixtures within the residence is an easy way to improve the system's function. Presby Environmental's Operation and Maintenance Manual, available for download on our website, should be given to all end users. That manual cautions homeowners against disposing of certain items down the drain. Some are listed here. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, but in general, if the item is not biodegradable and may be harmful to biology, it should not be flushed down the toilet. This is a list of some of the toxic items mentioned in the Operation and Maintenance Manual that should never be sent to the system. Disposing of any of these items down the drain would constitute homeowner abuse. The Operation and Maintenance Manual also offers some common sense prohibitions to protecting the proper functioning of the system. When inspecting the system, keep this list in mind. One of the most common problems for on-site systems is improper landscaping and vegetation on the bed. Trees should be located more than 10 feet from the field. The further, the better. The extent of the tree's roots can be estimated by finding the outermost edges of the branches. This is often referred to as the drip edge. Only shallow-rooted vegetation should be placed on the field. Wildflowers are a good example. As mentioned earlier, proper site grading to divert waters away from the bed will remove the possibility of hydraulic overloading. Erosion protection is important to eliminate any avenues for water entry and destruction of the field. If mulch is used on the final grades, it should be placed on at least 4 inches of loam. Mulch will need to be replenished periodically to be effective. The simplest solution to erosion control is to simply plant grass and remember, no fertilizers should be used above the field. Although no toxic materials are to be placed in the wastewater stream, plant materials intended for human consumption should never be grown on top of the system. Look for signs of compaction or the use of very dense soils over the field. Remember, the field is designed to be aerobic, and gas diffusion through the topsoil is an important part of this process. There are common household items that can be hazardous to the system, and they should be used sparingly, if at all. Chlorine, bleach, and ammonia are very harsh chemicals that are routinely used in the home, but should be replaced, if possible, with other, less toxic products. If the homeowner insists on using them, they should not be used in large quantities. According to the FDA, there is no evidence that antibacterial soaps are any more effective at keeping people healthy than regular soaps, so Presby recommends homeowners limit their use. Toilet bowl cleaners that can have a life of 1,000 flushes add an almost continuous strain on the septic system's biology and should be avoided. Oftentimes, maintenance providers will be asked what a homeowner should do to prepare the property for periods of non-use. They'll be happy to hear Presby systems do not require any special preparation or maintenance during these periods of inactivity. The care the homeowner should take is to make sure their septic tank is not pumped dry before leaving. An empty septic tank is susceptible to flotation in high groundwater areas or during wetter times of the year. Inspecting a Presby treatment field for issues can be as easy as using your nose, feet, and a digital camera. The human nose is more sensitive to septic odors than most expensive detection devices. As you walk over and around the area of the system, be on alert for objectionable odors. Don't mistake an intermittent odor from the low vent as a sign of system trouble. If the low vent is outgassing, it may be a sign that the system has inadequate draft, often due to a clogged effluent filter. During those times of year when the air conditioner is in use, airflow between the roof and low vents may actually reverse. This has to do with the temperature in the home being so much lower than the outside temperature. Think of this as a reverse chimney effect. It should not be considered a sign of system trouble. Use your feet to sense any wet or ponding areas. This may not be a cause for concern if there's been a recent heavy rain. In fact, delay your inspection for at least a day after unusually heavy precipitation. Use your digital camera to document any findings that would be important to your report and for historical purposes. Taking pictures of the system during its early years can also help see any trends over time. For instance, if you see lush green grass just over the Presby pipe rows that wasn't there last year, it may be a sign that the system is retaining water. It may also mean there isn't enough loamy topsoil above the bed. Contact our technical support advisors if you see anything unusual. A word of caution: you may choose to save any septic tank inspections for last. The strong odors encountered in the tank can dull your sense of smell for diagnosing odors when you inspect the area of the field. Documentation of your inspection is as important as performing the actual investigation. Presby Environmental provides a recommended form for your use and modification. You should try to be as complete and descriptive of your findings as possible. Attach additional editorials and pictures that illustrate any issue discovered in your work. There is a separate section to deal with systems that utilize a pump. If a pump is in use, remember to verify the presence of a high vent. If a high vent is not seen, look for the use of a bypass vent, which can be used in certain circumstances to eliminate the need for a high vent on the field. The septic design should note the use of a bypass vent if a high vent is not present. Consult the design and installation manual for details concerning bypass venting. Be sure to date and sign your report. It goes without saying that your signature should be legible. And again, you are free to provide more information than is requested by the form. Complete your documentation as though our technical advisors or your local regulators will have to make sense of this information in the future. And again, digital pictures are a great way to illustrate and document what you are seeing. As a maintenance provider, you should keep a historical record of your long-term inspections in addition to your detailed inspection reports. These records can be extremely valuable in troubleshooting issues, especially when dealing with local regulators. It's important to provide your homeowners with copies of all system inspections. It is also important to obtain a copy of the original design, if it is available. This will assist in locating the field and septic tank. If you find the installed system is nothing like the approved design, the homeowner should be alerted right away. Be sure to familiarize yourself with the Presby Design and Installation Manual, and especially the Operation and Maintenance Manual. At any point in the process of evaluating or troubleshooting a system, you can take advantage of Presby Environmental's free technical support. Visit our website for other useful information and training. Thank you for watching.